looking for real solutions. I'm Tonya Rivens, and this is Canceling COVID. Thank you for joining us as we work together to build stronger families and communities in the middle of a global pandemic. I want to say thank you to Mecklenburg County Public Health for their support. MeckNC.gov, again, that's MeckNC.gov for information about COVID as well as the vaccinations and any additional information that you might need. It's a great Friday afternoon, and it's a little hot, and I know everyone's getting ready for the holiday weekend. But with more travel and huge crowds over the 3 day weekend, the CDC, they're saying Memorial Day, there's a warning for unvaccinated people, and it's very clear. Mask up and stay at least 6 feet away from others, and of course, exercise the physical hygiene or the personal hygiene, that is. Make sure that you're doing what you need to do, and that's sanitize and wash your hands. Now, this comes as rules have been relaxed and more vaccinated people, they are ditching their mask. And that leads to our question of the day. We want to know, as I did not turn my, I apologize, guys. I didn't turn my ringer off, and I've told my son a million times, but we're going to go on. Our question of the day, we want to know if you guys think there should be some type of mask etiquette. Is there anything, is there, or should there be some type of code you should automatically understand? Is it mask on, mask off? I think about Future's song, if you know Future, a rap artist, and he says mask on, mask off, kind of like he did see into the future. But you probably find yourself in that situation. So, just do you think there is some type of etiquette code that if you walk in a room and you see others that are wearing masks, then should you put a mask on too, regardless of your vaccination status or personal preference? Or if you walk into a room and no one has a mask on and only you, do you take it off? I was just in a situation with my sister yesterday, and she was the only one with a mask on. So jump into the chat, sound off. I love to know what you think about that. It's almost like we need some etiquette so that everybody knows what they should follow. Hopefully you'll hop on and share your comments. I see you hopping online, so we appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and move in. Our first conversation is going to be with Donja Williams, and she's a part of Freedom and Me since the pandemic hit. We know small business owners across the country have scrambled to stay afloat, and we know that just trying to keep their doors open has been a challenge. And a lot of situations have created these challenges, especially small businesses that are open decreased by nearly 34%. Freedom and Me is based here in Charlotte and is on a mission to help local entrepreneurs define success and achieve it during the pandemic and beyond. So I'd like to welcome our first guest. It's Donja Williams, and she's the CEO of Freedom and Me. She's in charge and a small business owner, and she's a beautiful lady. That's what I like to see. So good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tanya. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Thank you for joining us. So let's start by talking about what are the biggest challenges that you're seeing for entrepreneurs right now?
Wow. So, you said it. There's definitely a lot of challenges. Well, first off, we saw so many people during the pandemic. We saw a rise in entrepreneurship. So many entrepreneurs were struggling. They were trying to find their way in through the pandemic, losing their jobs, financial uncertainty, and then the entrepreneurship rate just skyrocketed. And so now that people are on this new endeavor of entrepreneurship, one of the top two things that remain for entrepreneurs, a struggle for our new entrepreneurs, is of course capital, right?
Yeah.
People need money, they need resources to fund their dreams. And so the other thing is marketing, really being able to get that exposure and get your business out there. So you have a great idea, you have a great business concept, but now how do I make sure that I get that in the public eye so people know about what I'm doing?
And that's a real challenge for current business owners, let alone someone launching their business. But it has been great to see people say, okay, I've lost this job. I'm just not going to sit here. I'm going to go ahead and start my own thing. So I can appreciate that. But the businesses who have been able to remain successful, they've learned how to pivot. And I like to talk about that. What do you do to help entrepreneurs kind of assess, readjust, and then pivot so that they can stay relevant and keep their doors open?
Yes, so pivoting is huge. You hit it right on the head. You have to be able to pivot in business, whether through the pandemic and just in business in general. We're technology is constantly changing. People are growing, and the demand as generations turn, it's different. It looks different. So I always tell people the vision is the same. Our ultimate vision is the goals that we're trying to achieve at the end, and that's easy, right? We see this big picture, but then how do we get here? So one of the things that I am adamant about doing with entrepreneurs, especially newer entrepreneurs, is just reassessing the plan. And we may have had a plan to get there one way. We may have had in-person events, for example, and we were doing them and we were doing really, really good prior to the pandemic. But now everything shut down. How do I do it? So understanding a digital platform and how to reassess and get a reach, do the same thing maybe virtually now, just taking that vision and then scaling back the plan to kind of make sure that we do a step-by-step guide in a different way. So just reassessing your plan.
All right. So pivoting has really worked for some people, but for others, that's still not an option because I think it all goes back to what you just said. Capital is key. And if you don't have that generational wealth that's been built, it's kind of hard. And I just speak from personal experience. So, any pointers for businesses struggling to find employees or keep the ones they've motivated? My goodness, I was in Walmart and the lady was telling me, and I'm going to repeat it because it was a manager and she was frustrated. Walmart's paying like $11 an hour, and McDonald's was paying $18 an hour plus a signing bonus. And so they're losing all kinds of customers. Of course, they're losing their employees. And I said, well, maybe they'll figure it out eventually. She was like, every day people are abandoning their carts full of groceries. They're just leaving because they only have like one or two registers open. What can people do better, especially these employers, to keep some of these employees?
Yeah, you're right. I think that, employers and, first we thought it was, we heard people say it's the unemployment benefits, it's the unemployment benefits. But really, Tonya, working with entrepreneurs, I think people rediscover their passions. I think people rediscover dreams and visions and goals that were dormant prior to the pandemic. So not having that time at home, not working, and just being really faced with reality of, you know, one minute I'm employed, the next minute I'm not. Taking control of your future, hence freedom in me, right? Being free to control your future for your family, for your friends, for your loved ones. And so, one of the things that I think would benefit employers would be to really take that into consideration. One of the things that there's some things that came out of the pandemic for all of us. And one of those things was that we can do a lot of our day to day responsibilities working from home. We've all learned new ways of living and life and business. Employers, they really should be flexible to some of those new ideals that came out of COVID. Um, and then the other part of that is being flexible in terms of tapping into some of those desires. A lot of times, businesses, of course, they have to run, especially these bigger corporations. They have to run and they have goals and they have missions. But how can we get the right people? How can we tap into people's true hearts and desires for entrepreneurship or to feel wanted and needed? And so I think HR partners across the states and in different countries, if they really change their marketing approach in terms of how they're strategizing, how they're advertising their business, and put some of those benefits, those flexible options in there that we all now know is possible, right? Then I think that they'll make it a little bit more attractive. So I think they're going to have to ease some of those old practices that a lot of people didn't see was possible prior to the pandemic, and just be flexible to some of the new ways that we've learned to live during COVID.
But what would be the trade-off? So, because if people are trying as a business owner and you're trying to accommodate, and if it's going to affect your bottom line, then clearly, that works against your whole purpose of having a business because people obviously going to look at their profits and their losses. In addition to that, there are so many states now pulling back on additional unemployment benefits, and a lot of people say it's more about the hourly wage, not about the bonuses. And so I guess my concern is once the employment benefits are taken away, people are forced to go back and work, perhaps, or maybe they are doing their own thing. I just think there's a whole lot of pieces working together here. But how does a person in business try to accommodate some of those things, especially working from home or given the time off needed, and still trying to keep a business open?
Definitely. So, one, you said two things that kind of stood out to me. The first thing is actually they're going to have to be competitive with their salaries because, now with entrepreneurship being so broad and such a big topic, people are seeing very quickly that it's very easy to make $10 an hour on their own and
Yeah.
more. And so, if you want those people to um, come to your place of business, you're going to have to consider what you're paying in terms of some of the costs. If you're not a business that where you're able to make those flexible changes, then you're going to have to be flexible in terms of some of your policies. I know some corporations that are die hard. We have to work in center. You have to work in center. But the pandemic has showed us that 90% of the positions that we do, you can work from home. So as the pandemic eases up, maybe making it a little bit more attractive because people are flexible. They're saving money with childcare. They're saving money with gas. And so some of that money, maybe the trade-off is, hey, this money I'm saving in other areas, I can use to fund my dreams while I'm still helping this employer. But I think they're going to have to be flexible either way. Either you're going to have to be very competitive with your money, or you're going to have to be flexible with some of your policies and procedures to really retain these up and coming entrepreneurs.
That's a very good point, and I appreciate you sharing that because that's huge. Especially, we had a conversation on Wednesday about the cost of childcare and how wages certainly haven't set up with the cost for or kept in line with it when it comes to that expense. So, a huge part of what makes Freedom and Me work is that you build a community of support around the new business owners. Kind of tell us about the business showers, which I saw something about that. So that's a great concept. To even call it business shower. So tell us more.
Yeah, so business showers is our baby. We love, love, love showering new entrepreneurs. And what we do, the sole purpose is to connect new businesses to people and resources. And as I stated earlier, one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs face is having marketing and exposure. So we partner with community, we partner with other small business, we partner with corporations to ensure that these entrepreneurs, their goals and their visions are around the community. They have that exposure. They have the people that are there to support them, whether support them in what they need for their individual businesses or just the coaching support that they need, and ensuring that, hey, yeah, we realize and recognize that you have a dream, you have a desire. And I always tell entrepreneurs, you may have the skill set, but it doesn't mean you're not an entrepreneur. You just need that team of people around you to help you bring that vision to pass. And so we collaborate with people who feel like we feel to ensure that our entrepreneurs are successful.
Well, I really, again, like that concept, and it makes all the sense as far as getting the network and the support, kind of around just the whole concept again of it takes a village, everyone coming together. So, how does one apply or get tickets for your event? You've got one coming up on July 24th. It's business shower and a networking event. How can people get additional information?
Yeah, so they can definitely visit our website, www.itsthefreedomandme.com. We have tickets on Eventbrite as well. If they want to purchase tickets, we are still accepting candidates for 2 more days. So any entrepreneurs out there who is looking to establish their business, they're a year or younger in business and they want to get support. Not only do we gather people around, but we ensure that they get training and resources, tangible resources that they need to start a solid foundation in their business. Our goal, our ultimate vision is to curb the failure rate. So we want businesses, we know that studies show that over 50% of businesses, they fail within the first 3 years. And so our goal is to ensure that they're around the right people, they have the right resources and knowledge so we can curve that rate. So anyone wanting to be a part of our event on July 24th, they're welcome to visit our website. They can reach out to me directly. I'm on all social media platforms. It's The Freedom in Me, or they can visit the website that I mentioned earlier.
Which is freedominme.org, correct?
It's thefreedominme.com.
Thefreedominme.com. I'm glad you corrected that. We've got it on our screen too, so that people will know that. Just talk about business showers just a little bit more on why it is so important, though. I mean, we talked about the village concept. Maybe you can share how people have been able to come in and how it's been able to really help.
Yeah, so business showers is important because it's, again, we did a lot of studies and things, and one of the four, there's four main reasons why businesses aren't successful. And those things are, of course, the number one reason is capital. People don't have the funding and the resources to really fund their dreams. The
Some things
second
never
one,
change, right?
yeah, exactly. The second reason is not having an adequate marketing plan or marketing strategy. And the third one is not having a adequate business plan. And then the fourth one is not having a management team. So we want to make sure that entrepreneurs understand everything that's needed to run a successful business. Not only that, we're giving back to the current small businesses. So while we're helping brand new entrepreneurs, our target, when we begin to look for people to help these entrepreneurs, we're in the community because we know that over 70% of America's workforce is small businesses. So we directly target small businesses to help our clients. We pour the pool and the money and the resources that we get back into these small businesses to help another up and coming small businesses. So we want to ensure that not only the new business is successful, but entrepreneurs who are willing to give at a time when it's critical that their business is being promoted and successful. Hence why our event on July 24th will double as a networking event for small business owners wanting to come out to just celebrate these entrepreneurs and to really promote their products and services as well.
Wow, that's some good stuff, and it's always good, the idea of reinvesting. So, any final thoughts that you would like to share?
Yeah, well, again, Tanya, I just want to thank you again for having me on the show today. I love entrepreneurship. I'm all things entrepreneurs. So definitely, if anyone is interested again in learning more about our program, our partners, we have a partnership program, or anyone in the community that's just looking to give back, we are always needing resources in terms of time. It doesn't always, people always say, hey, I don't have dollars. There are
Yeah.
so many ways that you can give, whether it's in your time, in your influence, in your particular business niche. There's a way. If you have a heart to give, there is an opportunity for you at business shower, so definitely reach out to us.
Well, I've got plenty of people hopping on, but very few commenting at the moment. And so I can't let you go without asking you answer our question of the day. Should there be some type of mask etiquette code? Because a lot of people are running into that, you know. Do I take my mask off? Do I leave it on? You know, what do I do? As a general rule, outside, you're supposedly okay. I think it's around inside certain areas.
Yeah, so I think that there definitely should be. I think we're pretty educated. We're more educated, I should say, about the COVID-19 pandemic, the resources that are out there, the opportunity for the shop.
Right.
Now, while I don't think that people, being that there are precautionary measures to help with COVID, I don't think that there should be a mandate. I do, however, think that there should be like a moral or ethical, boundary when we're out in public still. Because the reality of it is, we don't know who's been vaccinated and who has not
Right.
been. We don't know, and we still are learning whether or not the vaccinations are going to be a long-term um, fix or not. So while I don't think that, there should be a mandate. I think that there should be a moral, conscious decision to still respect people's space, the distancing, Still respect the fact that, hey, you may have been vaccinated, but someone else can. And do what's comfortable for you and your family. Protect. The number one thing is, if no one else protects you, you have to protect you and your family. So if you feel comfortable and safe wearing a mask, then definitely still abide by it. And then just, be conscious of others around you.
Well, I certainly appreciate you again, Miss Donja Williams. Give out your website once more before I let you go.
Sure, you can find us at www.itsthefreedominme.com.
All right, great stuff. Thank you. Freedom and Me doing great things, working with our small businesses. And we know that there's never too much assistance or help out there. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe around the holiday weekend as well as we continue. Eligible businesses now have the chance to apply for $1 million to $5 million grant. This is through the Small Business Administration, their Community Navigator pilot program. Now you have to apply on SBA.gov by July 12th. And let me just make a comment, personal point of privilege with a small business and talking to other small business owners. All this information is great, SBA, and getting this information out is great. But what really needs to happen is you really need to start conducting more sessions, helping people to understand how to apply, what is required, and then maybe we can get a lot of this money into the hands of people that really need it. I'm doing a story about this and you'll hear a lot more about it. And that's what I'm getting back from a lot of small business owners. Who's getting it? Who's getting this information? There are some sessions that are being available. It really is. And I've seen more and more about it now. But I think, well, here's what I was told as a suggestion. While small businesses were sitting at home, that would have been a great opportunity when we were completely shut down to try to give this information, knowing that coming out, we would need to have people get them funding and they would need to know how to apply for it. And of course, it's easy to what they like to say, 2020 is hindsight. But I think moving forward, trying to work a little bit harder on educating people about what's available. Announcing these grants are great, but if people don't know what it takes and can't do the paperwork and how to go about getting it, then it's just money out there. I'm hearing that over and over and over. So I just wanted to share that as well. As we continue, again, it's a holiday weekend. We're so glad that you took the time to tune in. What are your plans for the weekend? I know you're probably got a whole lot of plans over the holidays. I would just say, please make sure you're safe. Don't forget that we still have a pandemic going on, a lot of events planned. Memorial Day weekend is the kickoff for the summer season traditionally. And boy, people are talking about traveling and a lot of things to do. So I'm just saying, don't forget that we still have a pandemic going on. And if you're not vaccinated, and even if you are, just do what makes you comfortable. And that's around wearing your mask. And I'll never go back to not having a whole bunch of sanitizer with me. I just really like having that precaution. So keep that in mind, the personal hygiene, whether you're washing your hands or hand sanitizer, and of course the physical distance of 6 feet. And I see more people being more accepting of that. So I still would love to see your comments if you want to hop in on a public chat. Do you think there should be some type of etiquette? Antonio Hosey Rivens, that's my nephew, guys. Thanks for the information. Thank you for hopping on. He is visiting Charlotte from Denver, Colorado. So glad that he made it home here and safe. If you want to comment before we wrap up, Antonio, about personal etiquette or etiquette for masks, whether you wear them or not, there's an opportunity to do that. Otherwise, we're going to get ready and sign off. As always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. I certainly appreciate you tuning in. I will see you this Sunday. Yes, I'll be in the studio, live and in person at 7 a.m., bringing you inspiration and information. It's called Sounds of Inspiration. And get this, let me share. Our sponsor, Mecklenburg County Public Health, thank you so much for always supporting the community and the efforts that you've taken in the community to make sure everyone's educated. So you can go to mecknc.gov, and they're providing information for you around COVID as well as vaccination information. And they've even thrown some dollars in there now. That's right. You can get paid for taking people to get vaccinated. And for those who haven't gotten their first vaccine, you can get a gift card for that as well. So that's some really good stuff. I mean, great incentives for you. And I've got a big announcement on Sunday, but I'll tell you now. The Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Chief is going to join me in June, and we're taking questions now. He says, Tonya, I'll come on, I'll talk. I'll answer questions. So kind of share, spread the word. There's so much conversation about law enforcement and the relationship in our community. And think about the adjustments they've had to make because of COVID as well. I mean, everybody's had to shift, folks. So Chief Jennings is going to join me the second Sunday in June, and we are looking for your questions, a one-on-one with Chief Jennings if you have any questions. Of course, he's the new CMPD, Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. He's the chief. Chief John Jennings. All right. I'll see you on Sunday. Be safe. Have a great weekend and enjoy your holidays. And thanks for tuning in because